Welcome to the Sapphire Sessions podcast, where we talk about all things luxury, lifestyle, life as a woman, and so much more. Chatting with guests, friends, and other pretty cool people. Tune in and come hang out with us for a bit. And now, your host of Sapphire Sessions, Miss Nico Sapphire.
Well, what's going on, you guys? I'm your host, Nico Sapphire, and welcome to our very first official episode of Sapphire Sessions. Now, just to give a brief introduction here before I introduce my guests, my goal for this podcast is to really open up some interesting conversations with some interesting people, essentially. I'm fascinated by anything luxury, from fashion to fine wine. I love the arts and music. I'm a musician myself. And I just love talking to people and learning about how people think. Everybody thinks differently and has their own unique perspectives, so that's what I'd love to bring to this podcast and to anyone listening here. So today is very exciting. I am here with Eriika Passi, creator of the Eat Girl podcast, and Kastenny Flores from Kicking It with Kastenny. How are you guys doing today?
I'm good. I'm good as well.
Awesome. I'm happy to have you guys here, and thanks for being here to bring in the first episode with me.
Yeah, of course.
So today we are going to be talking about all things luxury, fashion, social media, and pretty much whatever else comes to mind. So let's go ahead and get started. So, to start us off, I wanted to get into the concept of luxury and start by defining the term. So this is some interesting stuff that I found here. So luxury, the term luxury, originated from the Latin word luxus, which essentially means indulgence of the senses, regardless of cost. Luxury product can be defined as a work of art designed for an exclusive market, or something that is conspicuous, unique, and carefully crafted. So I want to start by asking you guys what luxury means to you.
I feel like luxury to me has always been either products or an experience that are a little bit unattainable to just general society. I feel like it's always, it's always been something for the wealthy, something for the rich. And so sometimes it's a little bit unattainable. Sometimes it seems like it's out of reach, but it's just definitely something to aspire to. It's like a goal. Yeah. It's just a certain market that everybody wants to be in, but it's very exclusive in a sense. But it's also, it's very high-end items and experiences.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that.
I mean, going off of Eriika, I think to me, luxury is something that you can have, but not all can have. So it's rare, it's exclusive, and it's something that everyone wants too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. I know. I really I've never heard that, but I love the kind of dictionary definition, if you will, indulgence of the senses. And I love that. I think that's such a good kind of way to describe it. I mean, I think that's what it is to me. Just something good quality that makes me feel good, right? Whether it's clothes or food or just anything like that. So, yeah. So what, do you guys have any favorite luxury brands?
Yeah. So fashion-wise, I love Burberry.
Okay.
It's my favorite. It's just so classic and timeless. I really want one of their trench coats.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Something
I like
to aspire
the scarves too.
Yeah. So nice. Yeah. But otherwise, I did actually yesterday get to take a tour of the Four Seasons, and it might be my new favorite hotel. Yeah. We got to see the presidential suite.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the epitome of luxury.
Love that. Okay, yes, we can talk about that for a little bit, because that was part of the event planning class. So I did that last semester, and Eriika's in that now. And I mean, that was so cool. That was so fun to be. We took a tour of the whole Westlake Four Seasons over here. I go to the Beverly Hills one a lot. That's where my parents got married, actually. And so it was kind of cool. That was one of the few that I hadn't seen yet, the Westlake one. Yeah. I know that's a little more recent too, but I love that. That was like what you said, epitome of luxury hospitality or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the presidential suite had its own sauna inside the suite.
I remember that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they talk about how it's literally $15,000 a night to stay in.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, and it was cool. I remember Tom Smith, one of my favorite professors. He was saying there were some shows filmed in there, and one of them I think was the morning show with Jennifer Aniston, if you guys know, and Reese Witherspoon. And I watched that. I never knew that they were in there, which was really fun. Yeah, so you familiar with
the Four Seasons?
Kastenny? Sure, or just
yeah. I actually have a friend that works at the one in Westlake.
Oh my god. Okay. I love that. Yeah, that is luxury hospitality to a T. I mean, yeah, nobody does it like the Four Seasons. So.
So like when talking about an experience,
sure,
that's like luxury experience.
Okay, yeah, that's huge. Kastenny, you have a favorite brand, luxury brand?
Ooh, let's see. I really like Chanel.
Yes.
Like, you can't go wrong with that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like their beauty, like handbags. Like the handbag prices have gone up so much in like the last couple of years. Like, have you guys seen that? Like, aren't they like around like $10,000 right now?
Oh my god.
Yeah. I think it's crazy.
Not as bad as a Birkin though.
No. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. So for me, my favorite brand, I talk about it all the time with all my friends, I would have to still say is Ralph Lauren to this day. Gosh, it's just, I feel like, if somebody were to ask me what my aesthetic is, I would say that. I feel like that's a perfect, just Ralph Lauren. I mean, you guys kind of know, right? Ralph Lauren aesthetic is just so timeless and kind of old money, if you will,
definitely.
and kind of classic. Yeah, I'm wearing it today. I had to rep a little bit, but no, I love it. And I feel like I'm really fascinated with their marketing too. I think they do such a good job of storytelling in their marketing, which is something I kind of pay attention to. And I love the whole story behind the brand. And so that would be my favorite, I would say. I love all the French brands too, of course, but there's so many. So anyways, so kind of going off of that, so this is something really fascinating that I found. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called the Luxury Brand Paradox, and really interesting reports by the KPMG organization. So essentially it's saying that a striking paradox exists between traditional luxury, which centers on exclusivity and scarcity, versus modern luxury, which enables accessibility to all. So essentially the question to ask here, right, is can the two exist in harmony? So it's, kind of reflecting, we touched on a little bit too, like the traditional luxury in the sense of when people think about it too, like you said, more exclusive and things like that. But I think now what we're seeing, which is really interesting, people kind of promoting more accessible luxury and things like that, and inclusivity. So I wanted to ask what you guys think of that.
Do you have like an example of the more modern accessible luxury?
I think
do you think, are they talking about how like there's influencers in New York who are now starting to be able to, there's like some kind of company or something where you can kind of like rent out a luxury piece for a day. Is it like that? Because that's creating more accessibility, because you get to try it out for a day or whatever.
I'm not sure. I just think it's I don't know, maybe the whole image of luxury is what they're more trying to change, you know what I mean? Because I think with the new generation too kind of coming in and promoting more, like I said, inclusivity and things like that in the media. So I don't know. I found it really interesting, but I think that's, and I know there's some brands too that they'll have what I see, like what Ralph Lauren does too. They have several different collections, and some that are less expensive than others, right? They have like the purple label, which is the most expensive, but they'll have the other ones that they have. I think like Ralph Lauren and Double RL, things like that are a little, more accessible to more people. So I don't know. What do you guys think about sort of the paradox, I guess, in the two?
I don't know. Well, one thing, like the first thing that I thought of when you said that was kind of like dupes in a way.
Okay.
And, that was like the first thing that came to mind. But I don't really think that's what you guys are referring to. But that's like the first thing that came to mind to me. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like when I think of that, I think of like cosmetics, for example.
Yeah.
Like how like drugstore makeup versus like high-end products. That's like the first thing that comes to mind to me, but I don't know.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
I started, the makeup thing actually, I started thinking about that, and how like, there's like the Giorgio Armani foundation, and like you can get like a Prada perfume, or like all those items. They're actually more like affordable for like, just anyone to be able to purchase. I mean, sure, they're more expensive than like drugstore products. But that's a side of like luxury fashion that is more affordable in a sense. If someone just wants to have like a Gucci product or something, and go get like Gucci perfume or something like that. But about like the question, if the two can exist in harmony,
right?
I would say I don't think that they can necessarily mix, but I think that they can exist in harmony.
Okay.
Because I think like traditional luxury, it's never gonna really be like affordable to all and accessible to all. You know?
Sure. Yeah.
I just don't think that can happen.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. And just like going off of that, I think that they would just be kind of separate in a way.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it goes with like the rareness of like luxury.
Right. And I think that's still important. And you know what I mean? There's a lot talk about that kind of. And so I think kind of going off of that too, there's a lot, how should I say it? Like the integration of social media, of course, in our generation, I think that impacts this a lot. And I think that's kind of what brands are starting to see, and us kind of becoming more of a target audience for them. And I think that's why they want to try and appeal more to us, and where the whole kind of accessible luxury thing kind of came out of, because of us and the new sort of ideas in society, right? And all the kind of things like that, and brands almost having to like speak our language to kind of get us to interact with them. Because I also think too, and one of you guys touched on it, it's especially for our age, maybe it seems more out of reach, and it's like they're kind of eliminating a whole market, the whole like collegiate market, right? Maybe without thinking, because the traditional luxury, it's more you'll get the wealthier older clients and stuff like that. I mean, it is good to kind of have a target audience, but to maybe expand, I think they can do things differently, and maybe that's where that's coming in to kind of get us more engaged with them, right? And I just think another big thing too with that is like, and I'm doing a research project on that as well, about companies promoting their values more and kind of what they stand for, because I think we're seeing that a lot now, which is really interesting. And I think doing that will get more, because Gen Z, when I think you see it on social media all the time, they're more about just company values and what companies stand for.
Like how Balenciaga got canceled.
Oh my God, that was there with the baby thing and the whole. There's so many campaigns. Oh my God, you could think of like.
It's like
that
now
one,
you can't say anything wrong, because we're gonna get on that. Like you have to promote good values, otherwise. I mean,
I think it's good. I don't know. It's just different, because I feel like now brands almost have to do that, at least to appeal to us. So I don't know. Conversation could maybe go both ways, but so I wanted to ask you guys too what you thought, because we touched on it a little bit, but like customer experiences, because I think that's so big now too in attracting more maybe people our age and stuff like that. So
with the whole like fashion market, I feel like there is like the whole customer experience to going in and like purchasing something at one of these high-end stores. Like sometimes they might greet you with like a glass of champagne or something like that, or with like the whole like Birkin bag situation. It's a whole experience just trying to get to that point, because you have to first like spend a certain amount of money, and then you have to wait like 2 years, and then maybe they'll offer you a Birkin. But, thinking about like other experiences, I mean, there's always like spa experiences that can be really luxurious, or staying at a hotel that can be like really nice. I can go anywhere really with this conversation.
Absolutely. What do you think, Kastenny?
Well, I think going back to the Birkin bag, I think honestly to me that just like is insane, that you're already spending like an insane amount of money just to get a bag, and then you're spending more. I don't know. Okay, but that's just like my personal idea.
I think now I think brands kind of, especially with the high-end ones, maybe need more to give their customers something, you know what I mean, to kind of really feel like they're engaging with what they're buying, you know what I mean. For me, what I wanted to talk about, what I thought was really cool, so I don't know if either of you are familiar or have heard, so in Beverly Hills, a couple stores over there, Louis Vuitton is one that they've done this a lot, and they've had these like pop-ups, essentially, these kind of little pop-ups, and so I've been to like their last 3. Oh my gosh, the first one was kind of by accident. My mom and I just like walked by, and we were like, saw these bodyguards in black suits. We're like, what is this? And I was like, we got to check it out, And so so this is really cool. They have this building now in Beverly Hills, and essentially they use it for any of like LVMH's, any of their companies. They can do like events or whatever they want underneath that umbrella brand, and so it's cool. So Louis Vuitton has done several, a couple just to kind of showcase like a new collection or something, and then their most recent one was super cool. I think it was their 200th anniversary, if I believe, and it was really cool. It was just like you go in, and the last one was kind of like almost like an art exhibit, you know what I mean, and they're just kind of showing, you know what it was think it was their 200th. Okay, and they were showing all these trunks because they were initially like a trunk brand, and so just kind of showing the history of the brand, and they had like this merch and stuff you could look at. And so it was really cool. So I think that kind of thing is.
Yeah, now I see what you're talking about. Yeah, okay, so I went to the Dior pop up.
Oh, okay, I heard about that. I didn't get a chance to go to that.
No, it was amazing.
Please talk about that one a little bit.
So I went to that last spring, I believe. Yeah, so about a year ago now, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I just saw like a random Instagram ad one day.
Yeah.
And they were like, Dior's doing a pop-up like this weekend, and me and my old roommate, we happened to have a dinner at Catch.
Okay.
Like
nice.
on that day.
Yeah.
And so, and it's right on the same street as the Dior pop-up. So we just like showed up and we waited in line. We got in.
Yep.
Even though it was supposed to be reservation only.
Okay, right.
Or like RSVP'd.
Yeah,
you know? So anyways, we get in and it's like the most amazing setup.
Yeah.
Like the amount of money they must put into these experiences, like the models they had walking around are like god tier, and then like they have like all these rooms for different photo opportunities.
Right. Okay.
And they are so cool. They're so immersive.
Yeah.
And it was all just to like launch their new perfume that they had back
so that's
then.
what theirs was for.
Yeah. And then they had this whole cafe, and you could like can get a coffee with like the Dior like essentially like put on top. You know how they do designs and everything. And then the upstairs on the rooftop, they had this whole setup on the rooftop, which was so cute. Everything about the experience was just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, have you been to anything like that, Kastenny?
I haven't.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
But one thing that I find really interesting is like how like just social media has impacted that. Yeah. And like we wouldn't even know about these events without social media. Yeah. So I think they're just like super important. And like from like those events, like how much advertising they get just for free after hosting one of those.
I feel like also that kind of ties into the whole accessibility thing because now they're actually advertising it to the public. Yeah. Whereas before they were just influencer PR events. We would find out about the events after the influencer posts about it.
I think that might be some of the first ones. Like they're fully open to the public. So I'd done a couple assignments on the Louis Vuitton ones because they're kind of the most prominent that I would see. And I remember it was super cool. One of the first ones I did it for my media writing class, and I got to kind of go in and do it for that. And I interviewed a couple people that were inside, and I actually talked to the manager too, and it was really cool because they seemed like one of the first brands there to kind of experiment with that pop-up concept, right? And I remember I wish I had gotten to check out the Dior one, but I heard about that. So I think Louis Vuitton and Dior too, they have done the most recently and stuff. And so that was just really cool. And then they had same with the last one too. They had all these different rooms that you could kind of go into, and the trunk one, that was so fun because like they had some they had like on display different trunks from just kind of they had like all of them numbered, I think, or something up to 200 because for their anniversary. And so that was just really cool. And the other ones too, just lots of like photo opportunities for anybody that can just kind of come in and do that. And then this was also really cool. There was another one that my mom and I had went to. It was for her birthday, and it was for Veuve Clicquot, the champagne brand. You guys are familiar. And that was a lot of fun because that's our favorite champagne. And so we it was their 250th anniversary. Okay, so this was really big, and that was cool. And I had seen that like online somewhere, and I was just like, what is this? So it was a similar thing because they were also under the LVMH, I believe, and so they had it. It was in one of the same buildings, and same kind of thing. They had showed like that one was really cool because the story kind of behind the brand, all about Madame Clicquot and all that, and kind of how she made the champagne and was really like ahead of her time, and like a woman, a female pioneer and entrepreneur in the champagne world, right? And so they had shown all these like female artists like displayed their work and stuff, and they had a Veuve cafe upstairs, okay, which was really cute. So kind of like the Dior thing, and there was so they had paired their champagnes with little foods, and like it was amazing. Oh my god, so really incredible, and really again just like immersive, and it just felt cool to be a part of that, and you know what I mean, and feel kind of closer, more connected to the brand than maybe you could, if I don't know, just like looking at it online, let's say, you know what I mean.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So that was a really fun experience. But I think brands doing that now, I think it's so important, and they're starting to see that and the value in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So any other comments on that, you guys? Anything else? All right. So, yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of thing. I think there's this debate now about keeping like the heritage in brands as something to aspire to, like we talked about, but also ways to make it more accessible. So I know we touched on it a bit, but if you guys think like, is traditional luxury too out of reach, or can it be motivating to the young? I think that's a question you can ask. But
I think for me, it's always been motivating.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, sure, sometimes it feels out of reach.
Yeah.
Just because right now I'm like a college student and, you know, making minimum wage type thing. So it's like, oh, like can't afford that Louis, like type thing. But I remember like in high school, so I used to live in Houston, and I would go to the Houston Galleria, which is just like big mall.
Yeah.
And it was divided by these levels, right? So the top, I think it was like the top 2 levels were like all your basic brands like Zara, PacSun, all that kind of thing. Yeah. But then the last level is like all luxury. And so I remember I would set this goal for myself. I was like, someday I'm gonna be rich enough to where I can only stay on the first level.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Kastenny?
Yeah, I agree with the motivating part.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like the first time I got something that was designer, it was just like a completely different experience, like going out and going to buy the product. Yeah. Like, it was just so exciting. And like, I don't know, it's just like a thrill factor of going to do it. So I feel like living up to that is like something that I want to do. Yeah.
For sure. No, I definitely still think it's important to kind of have that to aspire to. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of talk about kind of the more accessible luxury. And I think there's benefits in that as well. You know what I mean? Especially what you can do with the marketing and things like that, kind of like I mentioned with certain brands, and really feel like you're buying into that lifestyle. That's what I think attracts me the most to that kind of thing. Of course, I find it very motivating to be able to get to that point, you know what I mean, and just kind of buy into that. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of different like debates on that, I think, but very interesting stuff. So what do you guys think the future looks like for luxury brands, maybe?
Good question.
That is a very good question.
The future.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could go into just the whole, there's like the whole conversation about like digital luxury. Okay. What's the word for it? I'm losing it right now.
Metaverse stuff?
Metaverse
stuff.
Like, okay. And you know how like that one brand is suing the guy who made a Birkin? Oh, Hermes is suing this guy who made a digital Birkin and started selling it.
Oh my God.
I did not hear about
I have not heard. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, so that's a whole future concept.
That is so interesting.
Because, you know, there's a whole metaverse luxury brand.
Right.
But, I mean, if we were to just think about, like, in our reality.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's so hard to say that any of the traditional brands that we think of, I don't think that they're going to be lowering their prices anytime soon to make anything accessible to us. Yeah. So they're going to continue to just like do their own thing. Yeah. But I feel like there are going to be new brands that pop up. Yeah. And maybe they're going to be a little bit more accessible to like the youth and everything. Yeah. I think because like those kinds of designers, like there's going to be like newer designers who are going to like want to actually open up that market. Yeah. And so those newer brands, they're going to be more accessible, but I don't think traditional ones necessarily will be.
Okay. Yeah. Any thoughts?
I mean, on that? Yeah. I think it's probably just going to stay about the same. Obviously, of course, there are always going to be new brands, new things. I think maybe perhaps like there could be like kind of like how we were talking about like Ralph Lauren, how they have like
different levels almost.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that could potentially be an option.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, maybe see that coming in the future. Yeah, it is interesting. I agree though. I think a lot of the most of them I think will stay the same and kind of cater towards a similar market and audience, right? But it's I don't know. I always like it's fascinating to think about and to see kind of where we already are with new sort of trends with our generation and stuff like that, and to see kind of where brands might go later. I know our generation is like our eyes like looking, you know what I mean, and just I don't know, it's interesting, but I think that definitely has a lot to do with new kind of ways that we're seeing social media too and things like that. I think before it was really, there was a whole time when, all about like you can like look like whoever you want and all this stuff, but I think we're moving towards sort of a more authentic shift in that, especially in social media, and I think that has a lot to do with this as well in the fashion world too, which is really interesting to see, but I think it's good, you know what I mean? I don't know, what have you guys been sort of seeing in that sense in social media?
Wait, I'm sorry,
sort of more towards like an authentic movement, almost like people just embracing their selves more and things like that, instead of sort of I don't know, looking like just anybody else, or you know what I mean?
Well, one thing that I've noticed with social media, I feel like there's like a larger acceptance in like different body types, different personalities, different ethnicities.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like, I've been seeing that more often.
Okay.
And I feel like that's just like obviously like really good.
Yeah.
Especially for like influencers that are like Hispanic. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of that. I've been seeing a lot of more relatable things on social media for like myself.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that too as well. And especially like much more body positivity is what I've been seeing.
Sure.
Which is obviously like very good. And so like with like bikini brands and all that kind of stuff, we're seeing that shift. And then with makeup brands, we've seen a huge shift in the past like decade.
Oh my gosh.
With like all the different shades that they're coming out, natural looks, everything that's like catering to anyone who wants to. And then there's also of course like people who want to use like maybe bright colors.
Sure.
So now there's like a lot of brands offering like bright neon types of eyeliners and all that stuff to express yourself with. So
absolutely. I think less curation now maybe, and more authenticity. I think brands are also trying to cater to that as well, you know what I mean? So really interesting stuff. So next I wanted to get into a little bit about what we're seeing in fashion now with you guys, right from like runway to ready to wear stuff. So I have come up with this game for us to play. I am calling it Does It Stick or Is It an Ick? Okay, so I am gonna, thank you, channeling my inner Andy Cohen here. So I'm going to list a few trends that we're seeing now to you guys, okay, and we can just kind of get into it. You guys can let me know what you think, and we can talk about it. So the first one, this is a bit of a controversial one, but I'm excited to see what y'all think. So this one, if you guys have seen it, it's New York Fashion Weeks. They had a show, and it was like, they called it like an animalistic runway. Did either of you see that?
So I didn't see it before you mentioned it, like, in your notes and everything. Yeah. And so then I looked it up.
Okay.
And I didn't like it.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I did not like it.
Yeah.
Like I did see part of it was like some kind of like fairy ears. So I was like, that maybe we can accept that.
Yeah, essentially what this was, they had, and I don't remember the name of the designer, but they had the runway, and essentially all the models were dressed in like animal masks and stuff like that, and just kind of animal like parts. You know what I mean? And then, like, clothes.
I mean, was it, like, making a statement? Was it supposed to be something about, like, animal cruelty? Or, like, was it they were just, like, doing
I think it was just, like, the theme.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You know what I mean? The theme of the show was just all the animal theme stuff.
No.
So a Nick, probably.
Yeah.
Kastenny, what do you
I'm looking at
it
right now because I didn't actually look into it, but I do not like it. It's very unique. I'll give it that. But I'll have to give it an ick.
Okay,
I'm not a fan.
We're giving it an ick.
Yeah.
Mutually agreed ick. Yes. Okay, so the next one. This one's a little less controversial. I wanted to start big, really. So, anyways, this one, the Y2K comeback. This is a fun one.
See, so with that.
Yeah.
At first, I loved it because I was already on that back in 2020.
Okay.
Back in, actually, maybe even 2019, like senior year of high school, I was already doing the whole Y2K thing.
Step ahead of all this.
But now that it's like everyone's doing it, and they're making it kind of, it's like very fast fashion.
Yeah.
and it just like, I don't know, it kind of, in my opinion, looks cheap.
Okay.
It looks really cheap, and so it's an ick for me now.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah, what about you, Kastenny?
I do like it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of miniskirts.
Okay.
I live in miniskirts. I love them. I wear them all year round.
Yeah.
But
do
I
love
agree with
miniskirts,
the cheapness. Like,
yeah.
If you're not doing it right, then it looks cheap.
Maybe because it like more people kind of got into it, and now they're just everybody wants to make it. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, there is definitely like aspects of it that I do like. Like I
Oh,
do like the
yeah.
miniskirts, but
Okay.
then I feel like everyone started bringing back. I mean, like at first I loved the Juicy Couture comeback, but now it's like everyone's in the velour sweatsuits and everything, and now it's like you know, it's like PacSun probably made it, and like Shein definitely has it.
Yeah.
It's just like that's what's like making it overplayed and like looks really cheap.
I see
and
what you're
stuff,
saying. Yeah, because I think the original, the Y2K stuff from that era, like it's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see why it came back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. Maybe too many people now just making stuff just to make it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
So okay, maybe between like stick and ick, we need like a middle. Okay, yeah. All right, so the next one we got is corsets. It's an interesting one. What do you guys think of that?
I love corsets.
Okay.
I love them.
I can't hate on them.
Okay.
I mean, like, there's definitely some brands, again, that make them really cheap. And then it's like, ugh, that's just like a gross corset. But in general, like, I love them.
Okay.
And I don't think anything can make me not love them.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So
one thing is that, you know, the classic urban corset that everyone owns?
Yeah, I'm actually so mad about that.
No, I dislike so much how it looks on me. Like, I just don't like it.
Yeah,
I think it's very unflattering for certain body types.
Okay.
But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
See, like, I actually found that corset, like, I think it must have been, like, the day or, like, the week that it came out when nobody had it. And I was like, oh, my God, like, should I buy this corset? Because it's, like, so cute and haven't seen it on anyone. Well, thank God I didn't end up buying it. I mean, I love the corset. It's so cute. But everybody had it, like,
it's a uniform.
A month later. Yeah, and I'm just like, oh,
see.
like, I hate when, like, everyone gets the same
item.
item.
I feel that too. I feel like I was always like that too. I like doing my own thing, sort of. You know what I mean, with fashion, and then, but some trends I do hop on from time to time. If I really like it, I mean, it just gotta match my style, you know.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's sticking for you guys, the corsets.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
For me personally, I actually haven't. I don't own any. I don't think I've ever. I'm not sure if I've tried one on, actually, before now that I'm thinking about it. So I haven't personally experienced or experimented with corsets myself. The look, I'm kind of mixed on it, I will be honest. I'm not sure how completely comfortable I would be in one.
Yeah.
I have other kind of like similar looks, but they're like kind of softer, more stretchy material.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's kind of, you
Just
get
like
that
a
same
general
look.
crop
And
top.
it's something like that. Yeah. So it's interesting. But I know they're like so huge now. I see them on whenever I online shop, and it's always there in all the stores now.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Definitely a specific kind of look.
It's definitely interesting also how it's like it was considered a piece of lingerie.
Okay, yeah.
And now it's been made into just this like everyday wear.
Yeah. But you know what else? I feel it's like really vintage, isn't it? Like, I feel like in the super olden days or something, right? When you see, and the women, and they all had to like wear that kind of thing. And
but that's actually like my favorite way to get a corset is to get like a vintage one.
Oh.
Or to like thrift it somehow.
Yeah.
You know? That's kind of how I get around the whole like trying to find one that doesn't look cheap from online type thing.
Yeah.
You know? I love getting corsets.
Okay.
Like vintage.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so the next item on the list here, just oversized everything. I feel like that's big too.
So that was like my whole wardrobe.
Yeah.
I'd say like freshman year and maybe sophomore year because I love oversized hoodies.
Okay. Yeah.
That is just like love it.
Yeah.
And then I did like the parachute pant trend that started last end of summer.
Yeah.
I loved it before everyone started doing it again. It's just like my like
trendsetter over here.
I know, for real.
I love it.
yeah, because I like to I'm very good at like trend forecasting.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
It's like really weird. Like I forecasted that lace was going to be back in, and you can ask. I had to like do this for an assignment last semester.
Yeah.
And so I wrote all about it, and lace is in.
Wow.
I don't know. I have a weird touch for it. I have since I was in like middle school, because I actually predicted that Birkenstocks would come back freshman year of high school.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And then they did.
Dang.
And I got so much hate for wearing them, and then literally a month later everyone had them.
Wow.
It was weird. Yeah.
Dang.
But anyways, back to the oversized everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I like it to an extent, because it's like I like to mix and match it. It's like if you wear oversized bottoms, you have to have a tight top.
That is like the rule. I think that's like the rule. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
But doing the whole like Adam Sandler, you know what I'm referencing, the meme, where he wears like oversized baggy like basketball shorts and this huge t-shirt.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's just like, it's so hard to pull that off without just like looking like a bum.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, especially for a girl, I have to say, it's just, you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Or more. Yeah, I mean, I like the fitted stuff. You know what I mean. But I think it's a good mix. I think is good. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the oversized Kastenny?
I like it, but I feel like it depends on my mood if I'm going to do it or not.
I feel that.
Yeah, it's all about my mood. Like, if I'm not feeling as good that day, I'm going to end up wearing something completely oversized.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But,
I guess it's kind of, maybe it's becoming more acceptable now that it kind of came back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's not my favorite thing, though.
Yeah, me neither.
No. Especially, like, loose pants, like the parachute pants. I don't like them that much.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
They're not my favorite thing.
Okay. So what would you guys say? Does it stick or is it an ick for y'all?
It's an in-between again.
Okay, in between.
Because it's like, it's a stick for like the sense of like, okay, maybe I'll wear something oversized to the gym.
Yeah.
And I can do that forever. And like if I'm having like an icky day, I'm just going to like wear something oversized. But it's never going to be, it's not going to be like a continuous fashion thing. And so in the sense of like if I want to look good, it's an ick.
Right.
Yeah, I give it
100%. Okay.
Yeah.
But for just functionality, it sticks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, so the last thing we have on the list here is some cowboy cosplay. I know, Kastenny, Miss Cowgirl Core over here will get you going on that one. So what do you think?
Okay. Well, personally, I don't like the cowboy cosplay thing. I feel like it gives very festival.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Coachella.
Stagecoach too.
Not even Stagecoach. Stagecoach is very country.
You're right.
I've noticed.
Like you're
Coachella.
Meant to,
Okay.
Yeah.
I
don't like it. Like we don't need to put neon in cowboy.
Yeah, that's a good point. So what do you think about the whole like the Western style though coming back a little bit?
I love it.
Yeah.
I line dance every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like my hobby right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Free People does a really good job of like the little like Western country chic type of thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Yeah. Stick for you. I mean, I love it too. Oh my gosh, definitely sticks for me. I mean, I love country music. I got into that a couple of years ago, so I'm big into that. So I do love, on occasion, the country look. I mean, I need to get a pair of authentic country boots. I do not have those yet.
Yeah.
I've been looking.
Boot Barn.
Boot
Barn has it.
Oh my god, good to know. Okay. What about you, Eriika? What do you think?
See, so for me, I grew up in Houston, Texas.
My gosh.
So for me, it was always an ick seeing everyone
in cowboy boots and
in all the country gear. I do have authentic country boots, though.
Yes. Okay.
Cowboy boots, cowgirl
boots.
Yeah.
Figured, yes.
Just because, you live there, you have to have them type thing. I also had, like, the hat and everything.
Sure.
But, I despised everything country when I lived there and everything. But now I can respect, like, making an outfit out of certain pieces. So, like, I have this example of this outfit that I made with my country boots.
Ooh, okay. Oh, I love those.
Oh, I love it.
And so...
Those are cool boots. Let me see that again.
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh my gosh. Absolutely.
But yeah, so I like just using certain I call them kind of like staple pieces, honestly, for me. Because it's like the cowgirl boots, like you can like pair them with like different things. Yeah, like you can make them with a dress.
Absolutely.
Like all this kind of stuff. And you can make it like look good. But I feel like the whole like trend that was created with like bachelorette parties and all that, and like sorority girls, where they make like
fluffy cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Maybe
and
a little
like
overboard
the white tall cowgirl boots that were like everywhere. Yeah, that is an ick for me.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing, like cheap cowboy boots are just
Not it.
no.
Yeah,
no.
I know you gotta go like authentic. I feel like if you're gonna go with it.
The quality is just so bad when they're below $50.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
even below 100.
Oh,
yeah,
if it's like real cowgirl boots, they are hundreds of dollars.
Man, yeah, it's so interesting because I remember, and I was looking into it more too, and my parents said like they remember when that used to be like people would go out and wear them even around here. You know what I mean? Like it used to be more of a fashion thing,
and it's also a utility boot for a lot of people.
That's a good point.
So I feel like for guys it's just easiest to like pull off that way, but for girls it's more of a fashion statement.
Absolutely.
And so
Okay. Also, like, there are two types of boots, like the work boot and then, like, the dance boots that are, like, cuter.
Right.
Yeah. So, like, work boots are comfortable and stuff, but...
Yeah. Okay. Man, well, I gotta find me a pair of real ones then. You should guess. Is what I'm hearing. All right, you guys. Well, I think we're going to wrap up here. But I wanted to thank you girls again for being on the very first episode of Sapphire Sessions.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
It was fun.
We'll have lots of exciting conversations coming up with other guests on topics like music, culture, and anything women related, and whatever else y'all want to hear. So for those of you listening, don't forget, again, to check out my wonderful guests, Eriika Passi on the It Girl podcast, and at Eriika.3 on Instagram with 2 eyes.
And a K.
And there you go, yes. And Kastenny Flores on Kicking It with Kastenny, and Kastenny on Instagram with 2 Ys. Any last comments, girls?
No, just my podcast will be linked in my Instagram bio.
There you go.
I do have a blog there, and so it'll be in one of my blog pages.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Ooh, very exciting. And on YouTube.
All right. All right. Look forward to seeing that. All right. Well, there you have it, you guys. We'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the Sapphire Sessions podcast, a production brought to you by the CLU podcasting class. If you have any ideas of more things you'd like to hear Nico talk about or people you'd like her to bring on, be sure to check out our Instagram page at nico.sapphire and feel free to reach out. Anything is welcome. We'll see you next time.